The next problems here have you talking about a reference angle. On a reference angle, you're thinking about always going back to the x-axis. So if my angle is in quadrant 1, my reference angle goes down to the x-axis and would be that angle that looks something like that. If my line ends up, or my angle ends up being in quadrant 2, again I go down to the x-axis, so this angle here is going to be my reference angle. If I'm in quadrant 3, my angle is going to go up to the x-axis, so again my reference angle is always between my line and my x-axis. And then of course in quadrant 4, same kind of thing. If my angle ends up over here, I'm always going to the x-axis, so my reference angle is that angle in there. So if I want to find the reference angle for 7 pi over 9, first of all, I need to know where 7 pi over 9 is. I'm not that good with radian measure. I need to convert it to degrees so I can figure out where the angle is. And so I'm going to go ahead and say 7 pi over 9 times 180 over pi, right? Pi and 180 are equal to each other. And so if I convert that, the pi's cancel out. 9 goes into here 20 times. And so 7 pi over 9 is the same thing as 140 degrees. So if I think about this, 140 degrees is going to go over here in quadrant 2. From there to there is 140. That means my reference angle would be 40 degrees, because to get back down to the line I have to go to 180. I then need to convert this back into radians. So if this is in radians, my answer needs to be in radians. So 40 degrees times pi over 180 to change it back. Here the zeros cancel out. I can divide by 2. So 2, 9. So 2 pi over 9 is going to be what my reference angle is for the angle that is 7 pi over 9. Number 17, we want to find the reference angle for a negative 144 degrees. So negative 144 degrees would end up being over here in quadrant 3. But my reference angle goes here. So I'm trying to figure out how much more do I have to go to get to the 180. So if I just take my 180 minus my 144, that tells me this angle here is 36 degrees in the positive direction. And so 36 degrees is what my reference angle is. If I took the 36 here plus the 144, if I went the right direction, I'd end up being at 180. Find the reference angle for negative 11 pi over 9. Again, I'm not very good with radian measures, so I've got to convert it into degrees for my mind to keep straight what I'm doing. And so that's what I'm going to do. Negative 11 pi over 9 times 180 over pi to convert my radian measures. 9 goes into 180 20 times. So if I take negative 11 times 20, I get negative 220. So negative 220 degrees, again, ends up being over here in quadrant 3. And so I'm thinking about, no, negative 220 doesn't end up being in quadrant 3, because I'm not to 180 yet. Negative 220 ends up being in quadrant 2 if I go far enough, because there's 180. So that's negative 220. So what I'm trying to figure out here is how much space is left down here for this angle down here. If this is 220, negative 220, and here's 180, if I take 220 and subtract 180, that means this angle here is going to be 40. The other thing you can do is figure out if this is negative 220, if you took 360 minus 220, that this angle here ends up being 140. Right? And so, again, we have that 40-degree angle, but since this was in radians, we've got to convert that to radians, which we did up there, but we'll do again. So pi over 180. If I cross off my extra 0, I have 4/18, reduces down to 2/9. So 2 pi over 9 is that reference angle, which was 40 degrees. So my reference angle always goes back to the x-axis. How much space is there between the end of my angle and the x-axis in the positive direction? The last, before I do the last three,